probably expecting me to have some long explanation about where the fuck I've been, what I've been up to, when's the next video, are you dead? I've been in Japan for exactly 1 month. Wait a second, when did the last video come out?
Repent, and thou shalt be saved.
Hello, Japan. How I miss you so much. That part of the video was filmed back in July of 2022, right before I was getting ready to head out to Evo 2022. Now that whole thing that I just said there is going to be quite detrimental to the storyline that's going to be going throughout this video. But man, it's like December or like January by the time this video is coming out, and I can't even like wrap my head around about how difficult it was to make this video. I felt like I had this unconscious drive to compensate for the hiatus that I accidentally found myself on, because my last video did so well. And thank you guys for the support, I really love you. So my idea originally for this video is go to Evo and document my experiences there and talk about the differences from the last time I was there compared to this time, and has it changed with the corporate integration of Sony, and has their involvement made it feel less grassroots. But I also wanted it to run alongside a pseudo channel update where I talk about like future content and the direction I wanted to go with the channel. This is when I realized how overcomplicated the situation this video had become, because I was trying to cover all these different aspects from before I got to the event, being at the event, and figuring out how to put it all together when I got back home. Which meant while I was at Evo, I was going to be wearing a hell of a lot of different hats while being there. For starters, I would be wearing my filthy fucking casual hat, as I love the competitive nature that Evo brings and the spectacle that comes along with it. Then you had my media side, where I was going to elaborate to my audience the difference between Evo 2019 and Evo 2022's Valiant Return. But then you had the other side, my YouTuber side, where this video was originally going to be a oversized channel update and let you guys know what kind of content to expect in the future. Instead, I opted out of all of that and decided to keep it simple for once. In this video, I'm just going to talk about my sleep-deprived adventure going from Japan all the way to Evo and anything that happens in between. Then I can go into my bracket run and talk about the games I played, because for those of you who don't follow me on stream or in Discord, probably think I play like Genshin Impact or Fortnite or some shit. I forgot Julia's still looking for me. I've been in there for so long.
Welcome to the Rambling Round 2!
What the hell is this?
My original plan was to follow up my last video with me returning back to 2D fighters, and I had this whole idea to build up this story and end it with Combo Breaker, but I ended up having a family event fall on the same weekend, which prevented me from going. With that void now empty with Combo Breaker, I wanted to fill it in with another offline event, and I chose Evo 2022. And what was going to even emphasize this even more, that this Evo was going to be different unlike the other two I had previously attended, I was going to be hanging out with two FGC YouTubers the entire time I was there, being Proxicon and Gekkos Evo.
I would rather die an idiot than die trying to not be an idiot.
Until a situation started to make things a little but I mean in a good way. You see, for the month of July, I was set to do a video project for a friend of mine for the entire month. I was set to leave Wednesday afternoon from Osaka, Japan, to arrive in California Thursday afternoon to drop off my luggage, and then later that night around 11 o'clock take my flight to Vegas and get the Evo shenanigans started, where I would arrive in Vegas like around maybe like 12, 1 o'clock in the morning. Alex, why? Why would you do this to yourself? You're gonna be sleep deprived, you're gonna be extremely tired. For me, I felt like an opportunity like this and to come out with a story like this was never gonna happen again. And the way my bank account is set up at the moment, yeah, I might have been right. So with the house cleaning out of the way and the foundation set for what this video is going to be, I hope you guys enjoy. Yes, it's been a while since I made a video on this channel. I already have plans to make future videos. I want to expand on one of the topics from my last video. I want to make more comparisons and break stereotypes and use other games to better understand fighting games. It's going to be different. A shift's going to happen, but I think it's about time. So I hope you guys enjoy this video of what I did to enjoy fighting games with friends.
Welcome to the revolution.
Hey, come on, come on!
This is what the world is watching. Get ready, bring it on. Woo!
regards to my stay in Japan, or Osaka to be more specific, this was not my first, second, or third time being here. This was actually my fourth, with this most recent stay being my longest for 1 month. With that said, my playtime was going to be pretty limited due to the actual reason for me being there, which naturally affected my training both before and during my stay there. Thankfully, when I was training for Combo Breaker, I began to run a tournament series of my own called Violent Fridays. What's up, family? Violent family? Welcome to another day of Violent Fridays. To keep that competitive drive going and use some of my community members as a measuring stick if we met up in bracket for, whatever game we were playing at the time. But as you know, Combo Breaker was a no-go for me, so I extended the series up until Evo to keep me playing, which worked out great because in some cases, the only time I was able to play or have any time to play was only for the tournament. So now the plan was relatively clear, right? All we had to do was just keep hosting tournaments until I left and I can stay fresh. Yeah. You see, there was a nice bit of paperwork that needed to be completed before I left to even enter the country because it was still under lockdown for COVID. You have to have your itinerary filled out. You have to have a lawyer approve it. You have to have the lawyer send it to you. Then when you have to go to the Japanese consulate to make sure they approve it, then you have to get your COVID shit situated. They give you like an app that you have to send your documents in and it updates your progress. Then you send in your documents again and then they update the progress to its final form. But nope, not yet, because 72 hours before your flight, you have to have a specific type of COVID test. This led to the last tournament I was able to host being the second week of June. So in other words, I wouldn't be playing practically anything for at least 2 months leading up to Evo. Now, of course, there was going to be downtime here and there, but I didn't want to get into a labbing session or a match where I'm taking notes of my mistakes, only to be taken out of it like a salty crash after a boss that's been whooping my ass for hours. So instead of trying to play, I thought maybe I could just find a cool arcade stick that I could treat like a physical piece of the strip for some good juju. Right now we're at Revival Retro Game Store. I have never been here before and I saw it the last time I was here in Japan, but I didn't have enough time to stop by. This time I have enough time. I'm recovering from fucking food poisoning from 2 days ago. It seems like I'm doing a lot better. Sumimasen.
You want this same stick?
Hi.
What?
Yeah, I know, rare,
No.
hard to find. BS twin sticks for the Virtual On, not Virtual Fighter. Virtual On is probably my most favorite arcade game of all time. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I did take a quick peek and I seen something that I wasn't expecting and kind of forgot about that I even wanted in the first place because the price on it's fucking crazy. I know you guys heard of Ferrari, but have you heard of Amusement Ferrari? And boom, just like that, I had a Mad Catz Versus for about $100 thanks to the conversion to USD. My idea was simple for this thing, just some artwork, put my soundtracks in it, drill a hole for an extra button, and boom, that would be it. Little did I know, this little shit would become the most complicated fight stick I own. But my adventures with the Versus is a whole different story, so moving on. So shortly after grabbing my Mad Catz Versus, it was time for me to head back to California, which at this point, I feel I should mention something. The weather. Monsoon season was in full swing during my entire stay there, raining on and off in what felt like at random due to the overbearing hot days in between. Just take a listen to this shit. And this is at like a regular ass park. Imagine it being everywhere or in front of your fucking apartment. One day would be hella hot and one day would be hella wet. And in rare cases, it was hot and wet. The weather wasn't only limited to the area I was staying, but spread across to Tokyo as well, which is where my connecting flight was waiting for me. Now, I really did not want to leave Japan. I didn't want to go home and accept reality and, go back to work and such, but I knew it was time for me to head back home so I can get to the next leg of this journey, even though I really... Take me back. Come on, man, don't fade me out. Evo can wait, man. Come on. I was set to land at 11:30 a.m. in California.
Instead, I ended up landing at 3:30 p.m. in California. This eliminated any free time I had because I was scheduled to fly out the same night for Vegas at around 11 p.m. Any cushion I had time-wise had vanished since my day was supposed to start at noon, but now started at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So I got home, let my family know I was alive, and gunned it back home to prep the verses for Evo, which is where things got complicated. Fucking oops.
Uh-oh.
Oh man, doing this camera angle makes me realize how much I talk with my fucking hands. Now for those of you who do DIY projects know, when things are going a little too smoothly, something's bound to happen. Unfortunately for me, as I was working on the Mad Catz Versus, nothing happened. I decided to work on my motorcycle and then I cut the absolute shit out of my finger. It was bad enough where my bleeding didn't stop for a while, so I ended up not recording, and then I had some last minute errands, so I just decided not to record until I was getting ready to board my flight for Vegas. I was able to get the Mad Catz Versus together. As you can see here, you know, I have the extra buttons and pretty much worked how a flight stick should. After playing on it, I realized I hadn't played on a VLX style layout, you know, the distance from the joystick to the buttons like this. I hadn't played on for about 2 to 2.5 years, with my two main sticks being my Espada, known as the Noir layout with the distance of the buttons and such, and my second one being my all fight stick, an 18-inch Sega 2P extended layout, which I would love to show you, but may have forgotten Japan. That is a thing that happened. And you know, with the real estate that comes with the Noir and the Sega 2P, I'm able to respectfully man spread with the hands a little bit, you know? So when it came to being reaccustomed to the VLX style layout again, you know, I felt a little claustrophobic, you know, trying to put my hands in places where it didn't belong and look for holes that didn't exist, you know, like shitty foreplay. And, you know, I had to make the executive decision to... In the end, I had to make the executive decision to leave the Mad Catz Versus behind because I felt a little too uncomfortable on the VLX. Sucks to suck, but that's just how things play out sometimes. It's because I just wanted to be as comfortable as I could while going to Evo, you know, considering the circumstances and situations that I'm gonna have to deal with while getting there. So instead of the Mad Catz Versus, and since the AFS was not even on the same continent, the Espada was the choice that I went with. Not bad. So I guess this is the part where we talk about my insult to injury after my injury, which was also self-inflicted. I missed my flight. So I had to change my nighttime flight to a morning time flight. Now from the outside looking in, this probably looks like a good thing because I could sleep somewhere in between, but with my condition at the time, I was actually scared that an alarm wasn't gonna wake me up. So I had to make another decision where I stayed up all day, essentially. So I would be up for about 48 hours before even getting to Evo. Now this did set up some problems that I didn't think about until things started going into motion. For starters, I wasn't gonna be able to meet up with Gekkos and ProxiCon the moment I got there to drop off my bag, so I was gonna have to carry my camera bag and my duffel bag and my fight stick with me, which was fun. Then my brackets actually started Friday afternoon at 12 p.m. So if there was any variation between my flight landing in Vegas, which I was supposed to land at 10:30, I was gonna deal with a very tight schedule, or you know, just possibly miss my entire pool. No big deal. So I had the grand idea to set up a 12-hour stream to keep my eyes open and my brain active until my flight in the morning. So you see here, Jim, we're going down up to the line there. It looks like everybody's running to their death as per usual, all going in for their death. But you see that? I'm the smart guy. I say fuck this shit. I'm gonna live my life. All these guys are dumb. Thanks for those of you who stuck around during that 12-hour stream that I did, because you guys had kept me up. I didn't even have my camera on because I was looking so zoinked out. Thankfully, I was able to keep my brain functioning, my eyes open enough to head out to Evo and make it on time. In a completely normal fashion, that this was exactly how it played out when I left my house.
Wait, Alex, you haven't been playing with me lately.
Yeah, no, I just been busy.
I'm still your one and only for the King of Iron Fist, right?
Eliza, of course. There's no other character for me in Tekken.
Perfect. So you are only entering for the King of the Iron Fist, then, right? Right?
Yo, Alex. Milia wants to know what time she should meet you and Eliza. Chip is already on his way.
The moment I touched down in Vegas, I knew I was in trouble because I landed at 11 a.m. in the morning, but we got stuck on the runway. So I wouldn't officially arrive in the terminal until 11:30, 1 full hour later than expected, and 30 minutes before my pulls were going to start. I still had to get out the airport, make my way to Mandalay Bay, get my badge, find the guys, and yeah, you get it. At this point, I just accepted that I was going to miss my first pull and just compete in one game over the weekend. But it's cool because I'm used to the things I love usually not working out. Right as I was getting ready to tell Proxi about my situation, I checked my pull schedule for the weekend, and the pull I thought I was going to miss on Friday was actually for Saturday at 12, not Friday at 12. And then the pull I thought would be for Saturday was actually on Friday, but at 6 p.m. You can probably imagine how... This motherfucking, I swear to God! Nonetheless, I hopped in my Uber, made my way to Mandalay Bay, then finally met up the guys before picking up my badge. So you're probably wondering, who the fuck?
Hello, my name is Gekkos. I make fighting game YouTube videos. My biggest series is Getting Good at Guilty Gear Strive, which is just a bunch of dumb challenges I set myself. This is the first time that I went on holiday on my own, and it was a great experience, but I got stuck in JFK Airport for 12 hours, so I'm gonna spend this time to say, F JFK Airport. Also, go sub to my stuff, it's really good.
Hi, my name's Proxi. I'm a Guilty Gear player first and foremost, but I also play a good bit of Tekken. I am the proud founder of the Glue Eaters organization, which is a utopia for not only grappler players, but for all smooth-brained fighting game enthusiasts. It's not a cult. I think my favorite thing about Evo was just the scale of the event. It's just something else. My only regret is that I wish I made it out of pools, and I wish I had some more time to spend with my two good friends, Nate and Alex. Also, if you knocked me out of pools, you're a bitch.
For the uninitiated, the Evo Championship Series, commonly known as Evo, is an annual esports event that focuses on fighting games. It's one of the largest and most prestigious esports tournaments in the world, where players from all over compete for the top spot in their respective games. Most of the venue is held in Mandalay Bay Convention Center, where the competition starts from these setups to these monstrous setups. Then you have the booths scattered around where you can buy stuff, art stuff, random stuff, and more. I may be showing some old Evo footage for examples because I didn't have enough time to make the rounds this time around due to having too much fun with the boys.
Fucking you versus the guy she told you not to worry about.
The large attraction of Evo is the arena experience, where the top 8 of selected games are shown to thousands, along with reveals, trailers, etc. One common misconception I see is people think they need to be really good at fighting games to go attend events like Evo, Combo Breaker, or CEO, or any event for that matter. And even though the competition is a large driving force of the event, it's not the only thing to experience while you're there. It reminds me of like the stereotype where people are like, oh, I want to go to Japan because I like anime and manga, right? But when you're actually there, breathing in the air, hearing the things around you, and experiencing things that only that place would offer, there's so much more than just that to experience. And I feel like it's the same thing with events like these. You see, the intro made sense.
You little
Fighting game events are really special because it's not just a celebration of one particular game. Of course, there's tours and stuff dedicated to specific games, but when you're at events like this, at this scale, it's a celebration of the genre entirely. The reason why I brought this up is because a lot of people like to draw the comparisons to the Invitational, Call of Duty League, Apex Legends, insert esport here, right? But those tournaments are a celebration of that in particular game with that in particular community, where the biggest events, funny enough, in fighting games are the one that celebrates all of them. You'll see fighting games that you completely forgot about to fighting games you've never even heard of. And if you feel like you're the only person that's into fighting games in your realm of friends, there's always online to find people who are interested in the wacky thing that is fighting games. For example, Gekkos from the UK and Proxi's from the East Coast, and I'm from California too. So somehow we were able to get the UN of fighting games together for a weekend, for one time, one part of the year, for one weekend on this one place that, you get it, internet helps. I understand not everybody can make it. There are challenges, but if you're dedicated enough to give it a try, take a sacrifice, and go experience an event like this, there will definitely be fun to have.
Don't jack off the money. Alright, Mike's good. Mike's on.
In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And now for the world premiere of Alex Nostalgix' Evo thing.
It was fun compared to 4 and 5. This is the cleanest it's ever been. It's beautiful. Really good new characters, and I think everybody has something to bring to the table. This Street Fighter 6 is gonna change the game forever. I can't wait to see more. I'm just glad I get to try it out. I want more games like this.
What Five Force Fighters is, you have the movement like what a Smash Bros, like a platform type fighter, and then you mix that in with a regular fighting game, and then you just kind of like mesh them together, and you got kind of get what this game is. It has like flashy combos, a really unique game like that you won't see anywhere else.
It was kind of inspired by anime and cartoons. That's just something that we love. We had the vibrant colors, aesthetics that could really please the eye. Oh, my favorite character are definitely Pebbles.
Coco.
And in the game, they're brothers. We're brothers.
Editor Alex here. It's not very often you're able to ask developer brothers about how a game got started, and it turned out to be wholesome as fuck.
How did this happen, this game? The way it happened was I came back from 2 weeks in college, and I was looking at little bro drawing in his book, and we were playing video games. I think we were playing Hyper Dragon Ball Z, a Mugen fighting game.
And I was like, I want to put my own character in Mugen Dragon Ball Z, so I was like, let me draw him up. And I drew him up on my paper. He saw it, he's like, hey bro, let's do this. And I'm like, I was in the moment he said that because I was like, I'm already planning on putting this character in something, so like, why not put it in my own original game?
And I was like, yeah, we're not putting it in Mugen, we're making our own game. Like, that's what we're gonna do.
So this is Die by the Blade. It's not really a button basher, it's more technical, it's more skillful. It's a one-hit kill system, so at any time you can die. A fight can last 5 seconds, it can last 5 minutes. And it's all about stance, it's all about combos, and it's all about finishing sequences. There's an online tournament mode, there's a leaderboard mode, and there's also a campaign mode, right? So that'll take about 5 to 7 hours to run it through. So there's a lot of content for everyone.
Slave Zero X is like the 2D Devil May Cry with like Guilty Gear. They had a baby. If you had a fighting game character and you take it into a single player beat 'em up, you go all the combos, a big pastiche of fighting game mechanics in the game. You got parries, you got dash cancels, you got clashes, you got double jumps. We have everything but blocking. Yeah, no.
I mean, I think you see like Streets of Rage 4, to some extent, River City Girls. There's beat 'em up games, you can tell there's a little bit of fighting game inspiration, but I think this one takes it to a new level. The expressiveness of the combos, as well as like how you can employ such a wide range of mechanics and tools, so we're excited about it.
Right before COVID hit, Retro Arcade Stick Collective was going to have a booth, and one of the things that we wanted to do was have like a little short demo of like arcade sticks through the years, and our idea was something small, like, you know, maybe like 10 arcade sticks total, something like that. But Mark was like, you know, I've always wanted to showcase his collection. He wanted to bring it out, show it off. You know, what good is it otherwise? So I guess that idea kind of marinated for a couple of years, and he talked to Rick, and Rick had the idea to just blow it up and make it huge and do like a full-on like museum exhibit. And they reached out to Retro Arcade Stick Collective to curate it and run the exhibit. About 95% of this collection that you see here is all Mark Julio's collection.
So this was a Tekken Tag Tournament to Wii U. I've always wanted to have a Neo Geo stick. For years I'd planned on doing something with it. The idea was just to kind of closely as possible get an American style stick into a portable Mad Catz TE chassis. So I added a mini marquee here, so that way, you know, like just if you were at the arcade, I'm gonna probably print up like a Sam Show one now and all that. I was pretty pleased with the way this one came out, just because I wanted it to feel like the arcades that I went to when I was a kid.
That could... Oh, save. Muscle. But he's gonna help to lose anyway. Oh my God!
He didn't convert.
If he would have zoomed it, he would have been so dead.
But Chip is still there. Chip is still there. No! No!
It's like that.
It's really dead.
It's like that.
Who's gonna get eliminated? The EX is all gone. And this is got to be Injustice. other player. Is it a sandblaster? Is it a...
All we gotta do now is take a look at my pulls, right? I mean, Evo's only been gone for so long, but you know, I have my pull schedule right here, so possibly this year's pulls can be anywhere.
Tournament veteran, he's been around for ages, you know, well over a decade.
You know what? I'm just happy to be here, okay? I'm just happy to be here. I'm just happy. Throughout the video, I've subtly and not so subtly mentioned that I'm entering 2 games this time around at Evo. One of those games being the obvious one, Tekken 7 with Elisa. Okay, I'll take it. And a new game, which if you couldn't tell by the people I'm hanging out with this time, being the 2D anime fighter known as Guilty Gear Strive, a game that became my main fighting game over time because I think I just got burnt out only playing Tekken, maining Milia, and had recently picked up Chip around this time. And in accordance with Evo, I would feel Guilty Gear Strive was probably the game that I was most prepared for.
Fucking blender!
Even considering the fact that I had 2 absolute killers in both of my brackets, and then not even mentioning like the unknown killers that are in these brackets that I don't know of or anybody else knows of, I still wanted to set myself some goals to achieve throughout my bracket, and one of them being something very easier said than done, not going 0-2. And if I do go 0-2, make sure it's a hard-fought battle regardless. With the scale of Evo, you can literally run into the best player of said game and get knocked out into losers. Then you have to pray not to lose in losers to get knocked out of the tournament entirely. But if somehow, some way, I was able to surpass the conditions and circumstances that I was in at Evo to not go 0-2, my second goal was going to be getting out of pools. It would just be awesome to get out of pools for once, and you know, out of losers or winners side. But I really was impartial on my results anyway, because this was my first offline event back in 3 years, and you know, Evo hadn't been back in 3 years, so just being there and just soaking it all in, you know, having the homies behind you like hyping you up and stuff, and you know, calming you down during the down moments was the main thing I was really looking forward to. And I can say definitely Gekko and Proxi filled that role for me perfectly, and I did as well when things started to flip for the other side. So now I guess it's time for me to stop talking about my bracket and show you guys what actually happened, starting with Tekken 7. As I took my seat for the first match of the bracket, my objective was to get comfortable and use this first set as a throwaway just to get my bearings and check myself mentally. My first match with this Josie player showed a lot of flaws in my combo enders, like forgetting this won't reach, and execution like fudging my dive kicks, and just forgetting my old setups, which totally won't bite me in the ass later. But this match overall was a great way to jog my memory and get myself comfortable again. I ended up winning the first game because my opponent seemed like he didn't really understand how to approach Elisa, getting caught by back 1-2 a couple of times. So I took advantage of it in the next round to seal the deal for my first win of the bracket. Goal number 1 achieved. My second match was with this Eddie player, a matchup I have no idea how to play. Unfortunately, the angle wasn't the greatest for this, but I was starting to get comfortable with every match. Not exactly optimal, but I was getting adjusted to my environment. Before I knew it, boom, match done, on to the next. Oh fuck! And this is when Wei Gamble came into the picture, a player I've known of for a long time in the Tekken scene and have had a couple of death matches online. None that I actually remember winning, so I knew how this was probably gonna go. I knew how good he was, so I at least wanted to put up a fight. Even though I had a vague idea of what the outcome was going to be, I still gave it my all. In the end, he was just too good and knocked me into loser's bracket. After my match with Mr. Gamble, I was finally feeling at home with my play. Not perfect by any means, but enough for me to feel confident going into my next match. However, I may have gotten a bit too confident as I began overcommitting, getting launched and punished. Thankfully, I was able to get myself under control with a clutch rage art to close out the match to advance on to Losers Final.
It's your kill. Let's go.
This led to Losers Final, a place that I really didn't see myself getting to in general. I was pretty happy getting to this point, but man, getting out of the pool would be fucking awesome. My next opponent was a Dragonall player known as Ritosai, and man, this match was tight. Like, we were going back and forth throughout the whole match, and you know, he would get around.
You're okay, you're okay. You're okay, you're okay. It's okay. One, baby.
I would get around.
Alright, baby. That's good. Good shit, Alex. There you go. There you go.
Each game we played went down to the final round, and now we're tied 1-1. And I can say I was pretty confident going into our final game. As the round started, everything was going as normal until a certain situation played out. Right here. Right here. I went for the overhead cross-up, and I don't know what happened, dude. I just completely blanked out and just forgot what to do. After I borked that, my entire rhythm was screwed. I kind of flashed back to like all the mistakes I made throughout the match, and I just couldn't focus anymore. And I think Ritosai started to play off of it and really took advantage of it. So much so, I would get knocked out of Losers and out of the tournament. Even though I lost, what really hit home once the match was finished, there was the TO watching. He was like, man, I wish that shit was streamed, dog. That was tight. And Ritosai was really cool about the match, but you know, it was pretty wholesome overall, even though I did lose the match. But it was still good enough for me to be satisfied with. With the Tekken pools officially over, it marked the end of my 72-hour binger. We grabbed some food real quick.
I'm getting some really high-res footage.
Oh damn, that is high-res for us.
Yeah, get this one.
Oh shit, yeah, get it. He did not get the opening at all. Hannah.
Nothing to see here, just Gekkos, Squirrel, and Sorry, I haven't posted any videos in like an actual year, but there'll be an explanation for that. Probably never. So, and then headed back to the hotel where I fell asleep faster than I ever had in my entire life. As I opened my eyes for the next day of day 2 of Evo, there was only one game on my mind. Elden Ring.
Get on to rock, get up to burn, stand with the pride, ever feel your desire.
With the next day now upon us, it was time to get into Guilty Gear Strive for the day. My first match went relatively smoothly because it seemed like my opponent didn't really understand what to do out of like Milia's disc situations or Turbo Fall, leading into a lot of throw loop. Once I took notice of this, I leaned into it even more and advanced to the next round. Goal number 1 achieved. Jesus, already? For those that don't know, K7 is a highly skilled player in the Guilty Gear Strive community and has won plenty of tournaments in his run throughout the game's existence. So just like Wade Gamble, I just wanted to make sure if I did lose, it wasn't free. There were times where I would have a significant life lead and he would choose one moment to make sure I paid for a mistake. Thankfully, the beatdown was a smidge less brutal thanks to the randomness that Milia can be sometimes, even somehow edging out at least one round. I was mistaken. I actually won 2 rounds. It doesn't change much, but whatever. I'll take it. Even after a character switch, it was just too much, and K7 sent me into Losers. After being sent to Losers, I found myself against this Goat Lewis player, and right out of the gate, I knew this was going to be a challenging match. In our first round, I tried to be sneaky and try some stuff I did with the Eno player, but he did not let any of that shit fly and would contest any degeneracy I would throw at him. These mistakes would lead to a simple punish, a combo, or death, leading to my opponent taking the first game of the match. Now, fighting K7 was fun and all, but this match right here was probably my favorite one of the entire bracket, as we were at similar levels and really didn't have to worry about getting steamrolled by one another. Simply put, I was just having a fucking blast during our matches, and I think I began to feed off of it positively, because before I knew it, I won 1 game, then 2 games. and then 3 games advanced me forward in the bracket. This is where I like to emphasize, no matter what level you are, just watch your replays. Sometimes a game like Guilty Gear Strive where things are going by so fast, or a game like Tekken 7 where you're making so many decisions in a timely manner, it's really hard to take it all in as things are happening, no matter if it was your super cool moments or your not so cool moments, because that's exactly what happened to me. You see, I threw out heavy disc, right? And he jabbed me out of it. So instead, I backed up, threw out heavy disc again, assuming he was going to contest it, but this time I PRC'd into a counter hit, which sealed the deal for the round. I wasn't really able to appreciate the decision I had made at the time, until looking at it later in the future. My next matches would be against a Nago and a Biken, and I would love to talk about these matches, but the viewing experience isn't exactly the greatest, and I don't want to break your brains trying to talk about them. In the end, I found myself in Losers Final again somehow. In the first match of my Losers Final, my Milia got smoked by this Soul player. I would go to lose 2 rounds with Milia and then ended up switching over the chip, which I wish I would have did sooner because it seemed like my chances would have been a lot higher because I did win a full game.
Don't be afraid to look yourself in the eye. Big flash on you, that's my heart beating you.
Although the character select seemed like it was the right thing to do, it still wasn't enough. So the Soul player would end my run and knock me out of the tournament. Woo! Just going by the sound of my voice throughout my Strive bracket, you could tell I was just having fun. From start to finish, from win to lose, and to end up in Losers Finals again was pretty sick, and I was pretty satisfied with my overall performance throughout the tournament. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say I didn't expect to win at all, but I definitely didn't expect to end up where I did either. Could have I done better? Of course. If I would have put some more time in Strive or Tekken 7, I probably could have got a little bit further in the bracket, or even made it out of polls for that matter.
Bro, he's sick with it. Oh, wait.
But I'm sure the people that I knocked out probably are thinking or could have done the same thing as well, thus rocking the boat again, yet again. What I've come to accept throughout my experience at Evo this time around is I don't think I'll ever be 100% optimized or fully prepared for a bracket run through a tournament like this or local or whatever it is. I don't think it's just going to happen for me because I always feel like something comes up and takes me away from fighting games for a bit. But if you guys have been watching throughout the video up until this point, or even in my last video, I play a lot more than just fighting games, and I hope to talk more about that in the future. But let's get through this video first.
Oh yeah, you just sit there and wait your fucking turn.
After my pulls were said and done, it was time to watch Gekko Boogie in Guilty Gear Strive as well. Fortunately for Gekko, he made it out of his first pull the day prior, but due to my flight timing and scheduling, I missed that entire journey, and of course the only match I was able to watch was the one that eliminated him from the tournament. If you would like to watch his journey and see how things actually played out, check the link in the video's description. You little shit. Also, due to my scheduling, I missed a chunk of Proxi's Guilty Gear Exit matches, but of course the one match I watched was this happened. What's funny about our little trio is outside of a Discord message, a YouTube comment,
Alex Nostalgix, pretty dope guy, excellent food ASMR streams, A tier, but A- tier. Alex, make more videos.
A Twitch interaction.
You play like no Milia player I've ever fought, and it's infuriating because you're doing things that are correct.
That was pretty much the extent of our friendship before we met face to face at Evo. What's even crazier to think is we are probably among many others who met randos online who have an interest for fighting games and use Evo as the only way to meet up in person to gush about fighting games. But in the end, I was just happy that at least one of us made it out of our pools, unlike me and Proxi where we drowned in our respective pools.
You were good, kid, real good.
All we had to do now was sit back, relax, and enjoy the show, and have some hilarious moments in between.
Yeah, of course, don't worry about it.
Oh, well, yeah, you guys keeping count? Yeah. How many times you get recognized?
Birdie, bird. The last one up there.
So guys, we're like walking very slowly. You know, Dragon Ball Top 8 is like starting a bit. I'm not really too bothered about it. It's not too much to be excited.
Oh my goodness, the Super Kick Party.
This is a authentic 2022 Taco Bell Baja Blast.
Oh, wait, you got a ramen shirt too, weeb?
Yeah, I do. Right, fucking here we go. I have no idea what this tastes like.
You gotta let it go course through the tongue.
What the fuck?
Does it taste gamer?
I literally can't find any word to describe it. So yes, it tastes like gamer.
And yeah, that's pretty much how my Evo experience went this year. There's plenty of stuff that I wasn't able to mention, like how they changed the pools. You're basically standing in the middle of pools and you're surrounded by everybody playing games on setups, and you're surrounded by 6 big ass screens so you can watch different fighting games all around you and shit, compared to only having 2 giant ones. And then you got like how Artist Alley went up in size to the artist apartment complex, and then you have how Sony's integration with it, and they had their own booth and they were like interviewing commentators, players, and letting people play on stream. And then I have the great problem of having too much fun enjoying myself there with Proxy and Gekko, because I ended up not getting the footage that I wanted to get because we were so distracted, which I think goes for all 3 of us.
Pass it to me.
Press 1.
Stay in school.
If I so happen to miss something that you are looking forward to throughout the Evo experience, make sure to check out ProxyCon's and Gekko's videos so you can get a roundabout idea of what to expect at an event like Evo. For example, you probably noticed I didn't really put any stadium footage in my video this time around because I've already done it twice in the past, and I always feel like it's really hard to justify the arena experience. One day I hope to capture, the arena experience in a way that I feel would be really cool, but Evo, please give me a media pass so I can do just that. Now, though I did talk about Evo to nauseam at this point, go ahead and check out other events as well. Your combo breakers, your frosty faustings, your versus fighting, your locals, whatever it is, for the love of fighting games. For the love of video games. Go to an offline event because you just might experience something that you wouldn't experience anywhere else. Fuck, because you just might try something new and be a scrub like me. Peace out, guys. Till next time.
Welcome to the revolution. Hey, come on, come on!
And thank you guys for wow shit. Thank you guys for what the hell. Now my shit don't want to focus. I put my fucking camera in shock.